So they told us that wealth was locked behind boardroom doors that we would never enter. That freedom was preserved for the privileged, the connected, and the already rich. But let me tell you something, that was a lie. See, we are the generation that's rewriting the rule book. See, we don't need $1 million fund. We don't need a landlord's permission. But what we do need is a blueprint, y'all. That's exactly what I'm about to lay down. This is Airbnb Pro Tips, and I am your host, Earl McCray. Every week, we're breaking down real game from real entrepreneurs on how to launch, automate, and scale that Airbnb business. We're giving you the strategies, the money moves, and the mindset shifts that will separate those from the dreams from those who are executing on those dreams. Here, we celebrate the wins, both big and small. Here, we talk to real entrepreneurs, the one that took action and changed their lives. Here, we're giving you the blueprint so that you can stop watching and start building. So, if you're ready to tap into your God-given ability to turn knowledge into passive income, to create a system that works for you instead of you working for it, hey, welcome home. This is where transformation begins. This is where faith meets execution. This is where you level up your Airbnb game. This is Airbnb Pro Tips. All right, episode 67, Airbnb Pro Tips. Hey, welcome everybody, welcome. We got a good show for you guys today. Real good show. I am going to be bouncing around a little bit. Looks like we got Dante on board, Cornell. My big brother, Mark, how you doing, man? You are on board today. Sounds good, looks good. Are we live on Facebook yet?
How you doing?
Good. Yeah, couldn't see the Facebook feed. Let me just reignite that. Sometimes the technology gets a little buggy, but until I upgrade this new platform, we're using the Zoom. But yeah, we're gonna talk, man. So from a news standpoint, the stuff that we're going to talk about is, did you guys know that Airbnb has their new 2025 summer release? If you didn't, we're gonna talk about it. We are gonna talk about that because there's some interesting things happening. I think all of you guys are going to be impacted in a positive way, but it might be a little confusing because people are actually going to be able to. Airbnb is moving from a real estate business to a social networking business. And I want to talk to you guys about the implications of that because if you position yourself, like everything else in business, you're going to be on the right side of that. But it's all about positioning. So in segment one, we're going to talk about this release. We're also going to talk about, guys, we got to talk about it because it's part of the news cycle. We got to talk about P. Diddy, guys, in this RICO case. Now, are you guys familiar with what RICO cases are? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Explain it to our people that might be at home because they may, that RICO term may be a little bit of a word that you don't use in a day-to-day conversation.
I know I hear that it's about, I think it stands for racketeering,
Yes.
investigation, something CO.
Right.
This is racketeering. I know it's like a racketeering charge. It has a lot of things, a lot of implications with it. It's really hard to get out of. I heard things like that. I heard there's a really serious thing, a business, a charge about it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. This is big time. Yes. This is RICO is what they use to bring down the mob.
Mm-hmm.
El Capone, all these guys, these were RICO charges. Now here's the crazy part about this this particular situation. He's the only normally when you talk about RICO, you're talking about a network of bad guys. He's the only one being charged in this RICO case. Very, very interesting. Very interesting. So segment one is a little bigger than normal. I do want to share with you guys some pretty interesting Airbnb facts, but it may not happen. And I do have a crazy but real guest interaction, but that may not happen. But so we got a lot of stuff that hopefully we can get to in under an hour. But so let's jump into it though, right? All right. So the theme today is this summer release with Airbnb. But before we go there, there's a couple clips I just want to play. We're gonna do the news cycle with the P. Diddy first, and then we're gonna talk about our business. But so day 1, day 2, and day 3 have all happened. I believe in day 1, that's when they introduced his girlfriend, who we learned was being trafficked herself. So we're gonna play a clip from that, and I'm just gonna get you guys to give me your first reaction. By the way, I hadn't seen any of this. I heard about it, but I hadn't seen any of this until like midnight of last night when I was thinking about what I wanted to share with you guys. So here we go.
Sit back and attract repeat guests with One Key, a rewards program you won't find on any other platform.
Rapper Sean Combs accused of sex trafficking and racketeering. A jury of 8 men and 4 women were seated this morning and will now decide his fate.
ABC's Olivia Rubin joins us live from federal court in Lower Manhattan as the first witness, an LAPD officer, takes the stand. Olivia.
Guys, the first witness on the stand, and both sides have given their opening statements, which really gave us the first view into Combs' defense here. And really, they say it was all consensual.
This morning, the trial beginning in a case that sent shockwaves throughout the music industry. Sean Combs, known as Diddy or Puff Daddy, accused of running a criminal enterprise.
If you use my approach, you can dock both.
Prosecutors say for decades, the hip-hop mogul used his power to sexually, physically, and emotionally abuse women. They claim he, quote, coerced them into drug-fueled orgies or so-called freak-offs, threatening them into silence. Combs has pled not guilty to all 5 counts against him, including racketeering conspiracy and sex trafficking. An attorney for Combs seeming to preview his defense at a hearing last month, saying he was part of, quote, a lifestyle, call it swingers, that he thought was appropriate. Federal prosecutors say they have as many as 20 potential witnesses ready to testify, 3 of them expected to take the stand as soon as this week. One of the first 2, an escort. The third witness, one of the most high-profile, singer Cassie Ventura, Combs' ex-girlfriend. Evidence expected to be introduced in the case includes this surveillance video obtained by CNN showing Combs striking, kicking, and dragging Ventura at a Los Angeles hotel in 2016. Combs has since apologized.
For the prosecution, they're saying that this video is an example of multiple instances of assault and sexual battery against Cassie by Sean Combs as a part of this criminal enterprise. But for Sean Combs' defense, they're saying that he and Cassie were in a very tumultuous and domestic violence-based relationship, that they both hit each other.
During jury selection, some prospective jurors said the video was simply too much for them. But this morning, both sides whittling down hundreds to a jury of 12 plus 6 alternates who will decide the case. That jury made up of 8 men and 4 women.
All right, so guys, thoughts. I have some thoughts, but I want to kind of hear what you guys are thinking about before we jump into any more of these videos.
I mean, thoughts with that, the situation is kind of crazy and scary with him having all these charges coming up. But man, you just don't know what people do with their own personal lives. And I mean, a jury of 8 men and 4 women who decide his fate. It's crazy to me. That's my thoughts. It's pretty wild.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. That's interesting. Anybody else want to chime in before
Yeah, I just think it's interesting. My uncle was a fire inspector in LA, so he had to sign off on a lot of these I wouldn't call them freak offs, but they were celebrity events that he said he saw all kinds of craziness at it. So I mean, I like he would tell me like this is the lifestyle that a lot of these people are living. And no love to Diddy putting his hands on women or anything like that, but it's just interesting. I do think that people pick out who they want to crucify because there's a lot of people in this lifestyle.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Insight. Thank you, brother. Thank you. Anybody else? Well, yeah, I guess the first thing I'm actually surprised there wasn't more women on the jury list. Um, I think I think there is I think P. Diddy is going to get off on this. I don't think he's going to be. I could be wrong, but I think that they are selectively choosing who to crucify. Um, I'm wondering. Well, first of all, I'm sad. Then the reason I'm sad is, we've it seems like we've done this before. I mean, we had a conversation about Shannon Sharp making poor decisions. We've had other conversations about high profile individuals that and say what you want about R. Kelly as a person, but as an artist, I think he's amazing. But I think it is very, very interesting, in my opinion, that we look the other way in some cases when people are super talented or super gifted, and I think we kind of create potentially a monster, a Frankenstein monster, and there was a documentary that me and my wife watched maybe a summer ago, and it had a whole bunch of implications of P. Diddy maybe being involved with Biggie and being involved with Tupac's demise. But I like the idea. A lot of people have co-signed on just keeping this under the rug, and now it's convenient who's going to come out of the woodworks as this thing unfolds. So very interesting. So day two, that's when the girlfriend is introduced, and now she's pregnant, y'all. So I guess some of the allegations that was testified is not only was there violence involved, but she was forced to perform sexual acts as a form of entertainment for others to watch in. And the defense is that was just their lifestyle. I don't know what planet you're on, but that's not normal behavior. It really isn't. But I'm gonna let you guys chime in. I'm gonna play this link here.
Diddy trial day 3. Diddy's daughter's not in court, but his 85-year-old mother Janice was there. And on this rainy New York day, lurid new details emerging, and the bombshells keep dropping. Today, a twist to the tape that broke the case wide open.
The surveillance video obtained by CNN.
We've seen the hotel surveillance tape obtained by CNN that shows Diddy throwing his then-girlfriend Cassie to the floor, brutally kicking her, even dragging her down the hallway.
Combs can be seen grabbing Ventura and throwing her to the ground.
But now the prosecution entered new footage into evidence, 15 minutes of tape unedited, that shows what happened after the disturbing attack. The hotel security guard is seen here talking to Diddy, still wrapped in the white towel. Cassie follows both men back to the room, then Cassie leaves, the security guard behind her.
Cassie says that when she finally did leave the hotel back to her own apartment.
CNN Entertainment correspondent Elizabeth Wagmeister, who broke the news about the shocking tape a year ago, was in the courtroom today.
She goes home, her friend sees her battered face, and her friend calls the cops. They question her, but ultimately she does not say Diddy's name. Why didn't she say his name? Because she essentially didn't want to ruin his life.
And Cassie revealed on her 29th birthday, Diddy actually forced her to participate in a freak-off. She also one time overdosed on the drug GHB in the Hamptons. She eventually woke up naked in the shower with a male escort and Diddy freaking out. Their intense relationship also took its toll in Cannes in 2012. They attended the premiere of Killing Them Softly, but now we know what happened before they hit the carpet.
During her testimony, she explained that she was on a yacht with Diddy, and they got in a fight, so Diddy kicked her off of the yacht. She left. She didn't have her stuff with her. She didn't even have her passport with her. When they fly home from Cannes, France, Cassie says they were still in a fight, and then he takes out a device and he shows her videos of the freak-offs.
Cassie also told the jury after they broke up in 2018 he would blackmail her, threatening to expose her sex tapes. Cassie saying on the stand, "It's horrible and disgusting. No one should do that to anyone." And the judge began to add special privacy screens inside the courtroom before sexually explicit material was displayed. We now know Cassie provided those images from her phone to prosecutors.
Sean Combs and Cassie Ventura have not made eye contact with each other once. This day in court was actually the first time they have seen each other in more than 6 years. Of course.
All right. Again, I don't watch a lot of TV, so the things I do for this podcast is unbelievable to me. Who has some thoughts one way or another?
I mean, with that situation with Diddy, with that, he's totally guilty. I mean, look at that videotape, that footage. I mean, he should be punished for that. I mean, it's all on tape that he did that to his girlfriend. And it's just like, wow, by him saying that he didn't do this and didn't do that. And we see that tape, I guess it was covered up by maybe hotel security or something, but it's crazy because, I mean, I believe a lot of things happened with them behind closed doors. And that's one piece of evidence that proved it was that tape. It's crazy. I mean, definitely violence and abuse, and you can see it clearly on footage.
Yeah, that's crazy. And, you know, it's a reoccurring theme. And anyone else can jump in, but a reoccurring theme I'm seeing is that when people are doing dirt and they have the ability of having other people co-sign on the dirt and they keep quiet, is generally because they have some sort of incriminating videos or images of that person that person never wants to share with the rest of the world. And that's how they can kind of move and manipulate folks and never really feel any repercussions. Yeah. Because there's a whole other component of this, as you guys know, that, you know, we won't get into now, but so P. Diddy don't just like men, well, females, he likes men too. And, you know, there's been a lot of conversation about if you were in that space of music, the gatekeeper was that you had to have sex, man or woman with P. Diddy. That's a conversation for another day. I do want to talk a little bit, unless somebody else wants to jump in, about the economics of P. Diddy, because this is a business podcast. This is our culture, so we're going to talk about it because everybody else is talking about it. But this is really more of about, a business and economics. So that's where I want to go next. Do I have permission to do that? We good? Anybody else got anything on their thoughts before I shift gears? We good. All right, cool. All right. So let's talk about maybe the economics behind it. And this is a podcast that I frequent. I recommend all of y'all to do the same, is Earn Your Leisure.
Stop texting each other and just talk.
We're not texting each other. We're working deals.
Can it wait?
I haven't heard anything behind the scenes, but seeing, because I thought the same thing too. Like, why would you bring her out in the beginning to not lay out an amazing case? But they may be pyramiding the strategy where they start off very light to just defame and demean the character, and then with the next witnesses that they bring to stand, try and put the nail in the coffin. But I don't know if they have the strongest case. Either their lawyers are like the greatest lawyers on earth and they have a strategy that is foolproof, or like you said, Brian is going to be able to get them off for relatively a low amount of time. But that's going to cause a lot of blowback civilly too, because then the lawsuits are going to be endless. So I think it's a lose-lose for him either way. But yeah, the first 3 days, I'm like, I don't see the blockbuster strategy that they said they had from 2 or 3 months ago.
Yeah, and from what I heard the first day, they said Brian Steele was just tearing their witness apart. They said he was tearing them. I don't know if they started cross-examining Cassie yet, but they said like the first guy that came, they tore him apart.
They tore him apart.
He ended up he admitted that he taped the footage and sent it to his wife and broke police protocol and all types of stuff. So
yeah,
they was like that his defense did a really good job, but I don't know. We'll see. But I mean, okay, cross-examination starts tomorrow for Cassie. That's going to be interesting because as a lawyer, right, how hard can you push on a pregnant woman who for 3 days talked about how she was, you know, going through all of this stuff sexually, and like that's a difficult situation for a lawyer to be in.
Yeah. I don't think that's the best approach for sure. I'll wait till the other witnesses come forth and then cross-examine the hell out of them. But I will say too, when they want you, because you're from New York, so I can't speak to it because I'm not a native. But there is some in that legal community that wanted him off of that Sean case. A lot of times, like I've had friends go through this that were in the streets. They didn't get you on the first case, but the next case, Justin.
O.J. Simpson.
Prime example.
We can't say like beat a murder and go to jail for 20 years for stealing for football jersey.
Insane. On the setup. And they knew it was a setup.
Like literally, he beat a murder and then went to jail for 20 years for stealing gloves and a football jersey.
Yep. So if they want you and you're on that hit list or someone wants to make a name, that's hard to beat. That's hard to beat. So I think just in the end, the lesson for men is just to do the right thing. Whether it's this situation, it's a lot of domestic issues popping up. Tory, we'll talk about that later. Just you have to be very careful for all the traps that get set. And I never knew why my mom and dad would stress so much of like the selection of friends and making sure you do the right thing all the time. But as you ascend, there are traps that are set for you. And he's pissing people off. Same with Suge. Suge pissed off a lot of people. You can say his ruling was unfair, but you beat a few cases you shouldn't have beat and got away with some stuff, and now it's coming back to.
All right. So this is the point of the conversation I want to focus on right now is the economic fallout. What do you guys think how this is going to affect the industry of music in general, and this basically gatekeepers? If you want to be a star, you got to go through this gatekeeper, and if you don't go through the gatekeeper, you don't get your shot. Do you guys feel like the magnitude of this case is going to change all that, or is it going to go back to business as usual? What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's going to change probably things too, because of this. Like, the gatekeepers probably are going to expect you to do certain things, twisted things, things that are crazy to get in the music industry, to get into the music business. And it's probably been going on for years anyway. So I think this is going to have some type of impact on that in that type of way. Having people that are new in the industry that want to come forth and get the opportunity to blow in music and things like that. They're going to be putting things in the place like, oh, you need to do this and all this weird type of stuff. So I think it's going to have some type of unexpected impact on the industry.
Okay. Anybody else wants to chime in?
I just think it's interesting. I think that with social media being such a big way of people actually getting into the business now, it has decentralized it where a lot of these people that getting caught now, it's off older stuff, your Weinsteins, your P. Diddy's, kind of where it was only one way to get into the business. So I
Right.
think with everything being televised, it is going to be a lot harder to be this type of person now, just because everything's in the street. In the 90s, yeah, some of us had cell phones, but it wasn't like everything. Like even that footage was caught on, it was the hotel footage, but
Right.
nowadays it would have been on somebody's cell phone, so I
Facts.
just think that
Facts.
that
Yeah.
has actually probably discouraged a lot of people from living this lifestyle, or if they do, it's interesting, it catches up with them, I think a lot quicker, because Diddy was able to build a whole empire around it, and for him to have this many people involved and for it to go on for so many years just shows you how long he had to build his troops up to the point where people weren't saying anything, which is crazy.
Which is crazy. Well, who else is expected to testify? I'm not sure what day of this is going to happen, but they have Beyonce as well as Jay-Z, who are expected to testify. And apparently the testimony has to do with them being eyewitnesses for this said freak off, where the individual, and this is where the trafficking comes in, where this male escort person is reporting that his premise is that he was drugged, brought to this party, and put in a penis costume, and Beyonce and Jay-Z were there. It was very distasteful to them. I'm not sure if they stayed or left, but they were called in as witnesses because this male forgot what the term is, saw them in the audience. I mean, you kind of know who's a celebrity at this point. And lo and behold, even though they have that status and that stature, they were called in. And I think is interesting, the point that was made in Earn Your Leisure is the OJ situation. Once you under somebody's crosshairs, they may not get you around one, but they're going for you. They're going to try to get you if it's around two or around three. And that may be what happens to P. Diddy. He may get off of this just to go to jail for something else. Any thoughts on that, y'all?
Yeah, well, I definitely agree with that. Once you get into, especially you get this big, you're in political crosshairs, and there's people that like you, people that don't like you. I just think it's interesting as far as the Jay-Z situation, only because he has his own skeletons that I know he doesn't want to come out either. And his amount of involvement is questionable in these freak offs, as people keep saying. So I think it's going to be interesting to see if they say anything, because I know that another wealthy black man, he's on a couple crosshairs too already himself. So I we'll have to see how that shakes out.
Interesting. All right. Well, listen, this was interesting to go down this rabbit hole. We're gonna take a hard right turn, and what I want to do now is I want to talk about what's going on with this Airbnb 2025 summer release. I'm going to show a quick link, and then we're going to talk about what these implications mean to us, active entrepreneurs that are using Airbnb and other platforms to build our passive income. So let's take a quick look at this link.
Here's what's actually happening. In 2025, Airbnb is a customer experience business. It's a hospitality business. The Airbnb of long before was a real estate business, but not anymore. It's now focused solely on the guest experience, amenities, game rooms, different experiences that you can offer, making that guest feel as welcome as possible and making their experience as enjoyable as possible. You can't just take pictures of your property and put it on Airbnb and generate income anymore. You have to focus on what the guest is coming to the town for, what the guest is looking to do, and making sure that experience is fantastic for them. And while you're saving up, accumulating that down payment, focus on accumulating knowledge at the same time. Watch YouTube videos, take part in mentorship, take online courses, so you can make sure that you understand what needs to be done. Once you have the down payment and you do acquire your first property, you have the knowledge and the skills needed to take that to the next step.
Okay. All right, we're gonna talk about this a little bit. So so one of the things, so what's new? Guests can now book professional service such as private chefs, such as massage therapists, such as personal trainers, stylists, directly, y'all, using the Airbnb app. And they're rolling this out to 260 cities. And get this, they're going to be accessible to even the non-Airbnb guests. So what is the host impact? Hosts are automatically opted in, cha-ching, allowing service providers to access their properties during the guest stay. Now, this necessitates clear communication with guests and coordination with service providers to ensure seamless experiences. What are y'all thoughts on that?
So they're saying basically now you can provide these services like extra services, like I guess like you were saying, private chefs, massages, hell, even the car rental, stuff like that for guests. All these extra services. I think that could be a good thing to add extra things for you to add the service for, so you can get paid for it. So I think it could be a good thing, but you just have to adjust for it and figure out what kind of service you want to provide guests that are staying in your place. So I think it could be a good thing as well, impacting us as host, and that we're already automatically opt in. So, and you can do it right on their platform. But yeah, I mean, I think like we said before on the last call we had, or the last call before that, is that Airbnb is trying to keep a lot of these things within their ecosystem. So I understand that. That's the thing I get. So they're saying, okay, you can do all these things through us. So therefore, you use things through us. That means they're going to be taking a percentage out of that some type of way. So everything's through them because they want to have this big. They want to have everything go through their ecosystem.
Right.
That's what I get to.
So, as I was digging and trying to get the research, I haven't gotten all the dots. I don't have all the I's dotted or the T's crossed, but I'm wondering, so if you bring a service into this ecosystem, do you get a referral fee, or is this everything that Airbnb is curating for said guests behind the scenes? And if they're doing the curation, more than likely, you are not going to be a part of that income opportunity, because it's less about, for Airbnb, it's less about the real estate and it's more about the experience. Dante or Mark, any thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, they're one thing, they're not dumb. We know that much. So, of course, they're opting us all in, because they're basically saying that if they order one of these services, they coming in your house.
Right.
I can't deny this person access if they ordered another Airbnb service. So they try to make it act like they did us a favor. It's like, I know you opted me in. But my thing is just about time. When I book at a Hilton, a car pops up. Do you need a car service? Do you need a rental car? There's restaurants around, like all these other things pop up as services that are linked to the Hilton. So I think that they were just figuring out how they were going to do this the Airbnb way, and it looks like they figured it out. I'm on there now, and it's kind of interesting how they have it, because it's a separate tab for services. So it has nothing to do with with a property at all. I can book this service and have it in or out of Airbnb property. So it's basically a whole nother business model. This a whole nother business model.
It is.
Yep.
So So one thing I'll tell you, so everybody that's rocking in our ecosystem, you guys already know we are already providing something similar to this, but it's just not integrated the way Airbnb intends to do it. So what we basically do is in our spaces, in our places, we have a bunch of QR codes. And in our messaging, we're communicating to guests that if they want to add on, if they want to, in addition to services, they can go to our virtual store. And inside our virtual store is everything that Airbnb is talking about. We do provide the massage aspect. We do provide up services like firewood, up services like late check-in, late check-out. But so here's the thing that is very different, and I'm just gonna be real with you. What Airbnb is very, very nice for the newbies, but I'm gonna tell you, if you guys have had any experience or skin in the game, this is not the direction you want to go in. Because there's other, for example, I use a platform called Hosty. And Hosty, they're giving me a percentage of every service I get my my guests to opt into. I get the percentage. And as it could be as small as a couple $100 a month that is being generated, or as massive as a few $1,000s a month. I'll give you a real scenario. So I have a 5-bedroom in Rochester. One of the businesses in the area has her crew. I'm saying it wrong. She's not from the area. She's from Carolina, I believe. But she's using our space because they have a job to do for the city. And she's using every one of those 5 rooms. So she sends me a text and, hey, can we add 3 more people to the upgrade? Now, I could have gone to Airbnb and did an adjustment to upgrade. And they're saying, I didn't tell you this, but it's a few $1,000 booking because they're staying for 30 days. So 3 additional people for 30 days was roughly around $1,800. I didn't use Airbnb. I created a upsell in my virtual store, and all of those dollars are going to be generated minus that Airbnb. Y'all, I used to know this off the top of my head. I'm not sure if it's 3%, 5%. Altogether, it's 15% between the guest and the host. I think we pay 8% of it. So that's 8% that they're not getting because I directed my guests, the experience, through my own virtual store. Am I greedy or am I being savvy? Y'all tell me.
Yeah, I think they're the ones that are being greedy, really, because after it's interesting because basically they're just putting 2 people together. So for them to stay inside your pocket after that happens, to me, anytime you can cut them out of that transaction, I'm just calling you smart at that point.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me have you guys take a look at this quick link here and get some thoughts here.
Airbnb expands beyond rentals, personal trainers to Michelin star experiences coming this summer. Airbnb is enhancing its home rental offerings by introducing new services to rival hotel experiences. These services include connecting guests with travel guides, personal chefs, estheticians, and other professionals through Airbnb services and experiences. Airbnb services allows guests to book services such as spa treatments, photography, and personal training, with professionals vetted for experience and credentials. Guests don't have to stay at an Airbnb rental to use these services. Additionally, Airbnb Originals will push the boundaries of experiences with one-of-a-kind events led by celebrities, professional athletes, and Michelin-recognized chefs. Airbnb expands beyond rentals.
Yeah, okay. So we have the new tab. It provides a snapshot of upcoming check-ins, guest notes, and suggested actions, streamlining daily operations. The calendar enhancements allow for one-tap edits to nightly rates, availability with personal pricing tips based on amenities and marketing trends. Messaging upgrades. Hosts can now send photos, documents, schedule quick replies, and improve communication efficiencies. Okay. Again, the direction I think Airbnb is going in, as Mark pointed out, is the right direction because most hotels are already doing it. But make no mistakes. I don't believe the hosts are going to get a tenth of the revenue opportunity if they take their foot off the wheel and let Airbnb do it all. I don't believe that. I think, and you guys correct me if you think a little differently. I think a better way for hosts to be thinking about this is okay, cool. Let me let my first 4 or 5 guests kind of go through this experience, take enough notes, and then try to, network yourself into a situation where you're curating the similar professionals in your own ecosystem, and then position your guests so they can take advantage of those ecosystems, and you can get in that money stream. Why? Because I think it's just good business what Airbnb is doing, but I don't think it benefits the host in the long term. It benefits them because they're now, again, the topic was they're moving out of the real estate game and into the experience game. Any pushback on from anybody on that?
I mean, I agree with you with that. They're definitely moving in that experience space. They're moving that direction. I do believe that is going to benefit them at the end more than us as hosts anyway, because they're rolling these new things out. But by you as a host being a part of it, they have also this place where they're getting a percentage off of when they're, I guess, staying at your place. Also, they got experiences now because they got a tab for that. So everything within that ecosystem, they're going to be able to benefit from by just having, you go through their whole system. So, I mean, it's smart for them as a business, as them being a big boy. I get that too. But you can do the stuff like you said on your own as well through your own ecosystem as well. So it's just, I mean, I see where they're going, but yeah, they're definitely having hosts go through this, and it's another way for them to get even more income in their pocket through this way. So I definitely think that.
Dante, what's your takes? Mark, what's your thought? Any pushback? This benefits more the company and less the host.
Yeah, so I think it's very detrimental for the host, for the reason that, at least right now, for the most part, we've already seen Airbnb move away from being host friendly and catering to the guests.
You ain't never lied.
So with them getting another income stream that has nothing to do with the host, like if this really takes off, I think that then it'll put us in even more precarious situation where they really don't have, they'll be like, well, what are you guys going to do about it? Like leave, like we're making, X amount, $2 billion on just experiences alone. So I'm interested to see if this takes off. I think, as the savvy host, what we need to do is, since people are going to be looking at these platforms for like more of an all-inclusive experience, like you're saying, just make sure when they get to your place, it's an all-inclusive experience, that they don't have to go anywhere to look for anything else, that you're providing it all for them. But it's interesting to me how, even with this update, how I can't add a car to my listing, how I still can't add this to my listing, how they bifurcated that to benefit them. That's interesting.
So hosts cannot yet create their own experiences, underline that. But they can recommend existing ones to guests, enhancing the overall stay and potential increase of guest satisfaction. quote unquote, and Airbnb bottom line. So so it's interesting how so Patrick Mahomes and Megan the Stallion, you can refer them to their experiences, but I'm thinking about there's a guy down in Atlanta, Georgia. His whole experience was through Airbnb tree houses. And I think, they basically took the experience aspect out of the host hand probably early last year. So it is interesting. Here's what I'm pushing towards everybody in our ecosystem to be thinking about. I hope I got the right link here. Hang on.
Airbnb expands beyond rentals.
Okay, it's the wrong link. Here's what I'm pushing you guys to be mindful of or thinking about. And I'm just going to So all of our messaging is run by AI using this third-party software called Hospitable. And when I say AI, it will anticipate what guests may need before the request comes up. So let me go to inbox because I want to kind of just share what I think would be extremely helpful for you guys to all adopt. As you guys know, about a year back, Cornell, we got introduced to dynamic pricing, and that became a mainstay of our business. We didn't know about that until about a year back. And now we have AI-driven messaging. But one of the things that this AI-driven messaging allows anyone to do is to bake in this virtual store I'm talking about. So for each one of our offerings, we have a virtual store through this place called thehost.com. And the way we position ourselves is, we basically let them know, hey, early check-in is a possibility. If you need to drop off luggage, we can help you. If you have a pet, we need all those details. And if it's a pet-friendly place, hit this link. All right, here's our virtual store. This is what I tell you, as savvy hosts, that everyone should have this in their arsenal. So whether they're using the messaging or whether they're getting the QR codes that we position in the place, guests have an opportunity. All right. These are optional, guys, except for this first one. You guys have heard me testify that Airbnb talks about the $3 million insurance policy, but consistently as time has rolled on, if something's damaged and you present all of this documentation, you better believe they're not giving you a 100% replacement fee. They may give you 80, they may give you 50, but it's never 100. So what we do on our team is we make our guests understand that they booked with us. That's beautiful. But now they have to go and spend $30 to do a 10-day, it covers 10 days, and this is a damage protection plan. So when something goes sideways, and it always do. I just got pictures back from our cleaning team from another place. A crew brought a bunch of, they did not return the house in the condition that they left it. But even more alarming, there's paint on the carpet. So this carpet has to be replaced. Say the carpet is $200, y'all. Airbnb has never given me full replacement of anything. But now I ain't tripping. If I get 100 from Airbnb and 100 from this group right here, I'm just looking to break even. Y'all tracking? I ain't trying to make money. I'm just trying to break even. And I'm recommending that this is the way that everybody needs to be thinking. All right. So be above and beyond. So I'm just playing defense right now. So, but now I can go into offense. All right. Early check-in, I got you. All right, that's an add-on service. Pet request, I got you. Add-on service. This is per pet, by the way, per pet. Late checkout, I got you for 2 hours. That's an add-on. You need 5 hours or 6 hours? Yep, just add it up. Am I wrong, guys, or am I being savvy?
Being savvy.
Okay. All right. Because I got to tell you, initially, some people on my team, AKA my boys, because they're a little younger than me, said, Dad, why are we nickel and diming the guests? No, son, we're not nickel and diming them. What we're trying to do is we're trying to provide a service and experience beyond just the accommodations. So one of the things I see in my vision, right, is I want to curate this in order to provide a DoorDash kind of option. So if they want to order some food or if they want to get something, every city, no matter where you are, USA has a Walmart. I want to actually be able to position myself where they can not have to leave the property and get what they need. So this, and by the way, guys, these are, and this is the interesting thing. These are services that I have not curated. When I log in, they ask for my zip code, and they already have these relationships. But now I have the option of reaching out to other people in my universe that have small businesses and adding their offerings to my virtual store. I just think this is a superior play, a much smarter play, because now I can redirect some of that activity back into the coffers for me and my family. All right. What are y'all thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think it's just a better way to do it. It's a better way to go about it. Go ahead, Dante. I saw you get off. He had to say nothing. Go ahead, Dante.
I was just going to say that that's a very, very smart idea, honestly, because it does help us at least get some more income in our pockets. Because what Airbnb is trying to do, if they're not going to give us a cut in that, then I just don't feel like that's really fair.
But and the funny thing is, from Airbnb's perspective, they don't see it that way at all. They think that they're actually being more than fair. They think that what's happening is they're actually enhancing the whole experience. And to an extent, I can't argue they are. My only pushback is I don't think it's to our benefit, because truthfully, we all got in business not to make Airbnb dollars, but to make dollars for our family and our kinfolks.
And I think if they were a more generous partner, especially with the hosts that, we basically put them on, like they couldn't have done this without people putting their homes at risk. Right. I think that if they had been more like that gracious type partner, I don't think I'd have a problem with that, because I'd be like, they're a great partner to have. I just work with, like, I wouldn't even be mine being exclusively an Airbnb host only and just dealing with them. But I think that, the dollars come in, you have shareholders at this level and things that they have to, hands that they have to grease and palms. And this is kind of the byproduct that they have to keep looking for services in order to make sure that their bottom line looks a certain way. And yeah, we're the collateral damage. So we've had to, get creative and find these other sectors to make money. But I think that that's great. I mean, even as a guest, I don't see that really as a nickel and diming. When you go somewhere, hotel or anywhere, if the more stuff they have at the hotel, I know, I vacation in Mexico, especially if it's all inclusive and they have the restaurant there and they have this there, like I'm going to utilize what is given to me. So same thing with this. Yeah, I can order it from the house. Let's do it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Well, cool, man. I do appreciate you guys sharing your expertise. We all got skin in the game, and so this is going to be interesting to me on how this all plays out. And I just feel like we're properly positioned. Honestly, I think we're properly positioned to benefit from everything that Airbnb is doing because it's not our only play. Because they're going to promote this, they're going to put a lot of marketing dollars behind it. And when your guest comes to your place and they scan your QR codes and that QR code takes them to your virtual store, cha-ching, right? This is not a bad thing. This is not a bad thing. All right. So I have curated a couple of true false questions based on some of the research I did. So let me throw some questions at you guys. First question is, it goes to you, Dante. All right, true or false? Airbnb services are only available to guests who have an active booking.
I'm thinking that's true.
Oh, okay. You went for the head fake. The answer is false. Airbnb services can also be booked by people not staying in Airbnb land.
How is that possible though?
Well, okay, Mark, you just saw Mark. When you go to the app, share out what are you seeing right now?
Yeah, so if you go there now, they've actually added a whole new section. So you have your bookings, but then there's a whole new thing that says experiences that I can click on, and it takes me to a list of experiences that has nothing to do with anything else. So homes, of course, is your regular Airbnb. There's experiences, and now there's services now that I can click a service, and then it takes me to a whole new thing just about services, chefs, photography, training, massages, that have nothing to do with the other stuff. So interesting stuff.
Yes, sir.
Very, very interesting. I got to go on the app later today.
Yeah, yep. All right, Mark, you're up for question 2. All right, true or false? Hosts are automatically opted into the Airbnb services unless they manually opt out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they got us. They are opting us in, sir.
Yeah, yeah. And I would recommend that you opt in for at least the first 6 months so you can kind of see what's going on. So you're aware of what's happening. And then utilize that knowledge to leverage your own experience.
I wonder if that's going to affect the algorithm at all, too.
You know what? That's a great point.
The dissenters.
Yeah. No, think about it. Like one of the biggest boss moves that someone got me to do was to use Airbnb photographers. And not that I think their photographs are much different from anybody else that does that for a living, but I think they tweak the algorithm. In fact, I believe it wholeheartedly. Because it was night and day in terms of the amount of insights I was getting. So, all right. Question 3, Cornell. True or false? Airbnb services include offerings like personal chefs, massage therapists, and stylists.
As we just seen, that's true. That's some of that new services are going to be happening.
You got it. Got it. Dante, true or false? Service providers can enter properties without host knowledge or guest approval.
I would say true. It's not.
Interesting. It actually is false. There needs to be a coordinated. No, that's fine. This is good. There needs to be coordination and communication are required to ensure seamless and respectful experiences. You guys are probably a little bit like me, right? Where I actually, when there's multiple people in and out of a space, I ask them to upload photo IDs for everyone that's on the reservation, but not actually doing the booking. And I think that's a good practice. I think that's a safe practice because, as you know, although they frown upon us having cameras inside the place, knowing who's coming in and out of the door, you know, we talked about this before, Cornell, the Ring cameras, that is a smart play. But the Ring cameras don't work as well if you don't know who's supposed to be coming or going. So yeah, the answer is false. So you have to provide consent for someone, a chef or whomever, to come in to your place. All right, Mark, true or false? Question 5. Airbnb hosts can create and sell their own services under the new Airbnb service platform.
So I guess I could have my own service, but it would be under the separate platform. I couldn't sell it under my own.
That is correct. False. Currently, hosts cannot create their own services, but can benefit by offering curated experiences. Now, again, this is using the Airbnb platform. All right. We're suggesting you guys go in another direction. All right, Cornell, true or false? Guests can book services through the Airbnb app even before they arrive at the property.
That's true.
That is true. That is true. All right, 7, true or false? Dante, Airbnb services are launching in only 50 cities to test the concept before expanding.
That's false.
Dang right. They're launching in over 260 cities right out of the gate, y'all. They've studied this. They are expecting. I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised, y'all, in 6 months if they match or if they don't match. I believe matching is easy, but I expect them to at least, I want to say they're going to get at least a 30% more return per client on these experiences. Just based on my math of like what people are willing to pay for a weekend. And especially if they're like in a destination spot, like Mark, me and your sister was talking about Vegas. Like, so she has a client in Vegas. Guess who's coming to Vegas? Beyonce. So,
Exactly.
so if you have connections in destination spots, it's gonna be lights out. And you add these type of opportunities, Airbnb is really gonna try to take it to the house with what they're cooking. It's brilliant, actually. The more I talk about it, I'm getting excited. Not because we're actually benefiting from it, because it's a good business play. It is just intelligent. Cornell, question 8. I only got 10 of them, and then we're gonna shut this down. True or false? The new services are designed to replace Airbnb experiences.
I'm gonna say false.
Correct. False. Airbnb experiences have been revamped, but they are separate from the Airbnb service platform. All right, Dante, number 9. True or false? Hosts must now be prepared to coordinate with third-party service providers during the guest stay.
So this is like a trick question because I know we have to coordinate with them, but then they could also just book directly whether or not they're staying there. So I'm gonna say true for this one.
You got it, man. Absolutely. Hosts must be prepared to coordinate with the third party, even if it's not going to make them money. I got to throw that last part out of there. So if your guest, so you got to have this position. I want my guests to have the best experience possible, even if that doesn't result in any additional dollars in this moment, with the hope and with the belief that they're going to enjoy themselves so much that next time they're back in your area, that they're going to think about you, the host.
All right, I just got a dark thought, unfortunately.
Talk to me.
Because I mean, how they do. They'll complain about traffic, and I have nothing to do with the traffic that goes by the place or what have you, or I hope that they keep it separate because I could see, and this massage was horrible, and they put that on my review.
Right. Oh my God, I didn't think about that.
Oh,
That's gonna be a whole nother animal, right? The review part of it.
yes. Oh, yeah.
Interesting.
We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, that's interesting. All right, Mark, final question, true or false? Airbnb services are intended to create a more hotel-like experience within the STR ecosystem.
Yeah, true. They don't want them to go to hotels for anything at this point, and I think they're doing a good job.
Yep, yep. Well, guys, this was an interesting session. I obviously we didn't make time for uh crazy but real guest interactions, but I know y'all got them. So I want to have that as a conversation next week. But in terms of marketplace questions, was there any marketplace questions that were in our text thread that did not get properly answered over the last cycle? I know, Mark, you responded to Cornell. Did that work for you? What Mark had shared?
Yep, it worked. Yep.
All right, beautiful, beautiful. All right, yeah, this is what we do. Yeah, let's wrap up with some wins for the week, and let's bid our people out in social media a good day. Cornell, what has been your wins for the last 7 calendar days?
Had some wins. Actually, had some business wins. I know. I had some. Woke up the other day, had 3 5-star reviews. That's a good business win right there at the top. Giving that good experience.
Beautiful.
So that was a win when it comes to business. Um, Other wins this week, when it comes to actually just life in general, just having a good win with, just with getting closer away from my W-2, other things lined up, other business ideas that I've been cooking up. Um, Other win I had was actually stand. I know we usually don't talk about this, but usually actually stand on top of our health and our fitness. That's been doing pretty good for me. So that's my 3 major wins for this week, which been really good, but really blessed. And also just getting all this knowledge that we're actually bouncing ideas and bouncing knowledge off each other when it comes to the space. So that was my good wins for these past 7 day calendar days.
Excellent. Thanks for sharing. Dante, what about you, brother? What's been your wins for the week?
So I actually started doing courses to acquire my real estate license to help diversify my portfolio for property management. So I'll say that's like my major win this week.
Okay. Nice. Beautiful. All right. Excellent. Mark, what about you, buddy?
Yeah, just moving a few of my different business ventures forward. So it looks like we are going to be closing in on a couple properties, and then plus just talking to people. A townhouse that a gentleman bought from back east for his son in Riverside out here for college. The son ended up staying there for 2 weeks and ended up moving back home. So guy has a fully furnished townhouse just sitting.
Oh my. Okay.
So I have a realtor friend, and I was like, we don't do just sitting. So he's going to allow us to go ahead and list it initially and get this going. So I'm going to look into that a little more, and then I'll probably be talking to you about that one, sir.
Sounds good. All right.
Mm-hmm.
A win for me is my business credit, trying to leverage these LLCs to get some business credit instead of me, traditionally, you bootstrap with credit cards and your W-2, and that's a smart way of kind of getting in the game, but that's not how you scale. So got some, Candy was in my ear yesterday about some more strategic ways of doing the business funding. Ultimately, I want to close on I will take a 3-plex, but my goal is to get a 4-plex, either third or fourth quarter of this year. Couple books that I'm reading that talk about multifamily housing. Again, the goal for me every year is to pick up a property and to get, additional doors. So, you gotta crawl before you walk. And so like, the idea is that continually getting uncomfortable with being outside your comfort zone is the idea. So if you already got a duplex, if you already have a single family, don't get another single family. Get a duplex. If you already got a duplex, don't get a second duplex. Get a 3 or 4-plex. So every purchase, you're trying to continually get outside of your comfort zone because that's how you grow. It forces you not to know something, and when you don't know something, your brain goes on autopilot on how to get the information. And so that's the season I'm in right now, just trying to get that business credit in place so I can continually be uncomfortable. But yeah, that's it, guys. Appreciate you guys sharing an hour with me. The news cycle is just that. Sometimes it's entertaining, but sometimes it's white noise. So if you're all like me, don't let the news cycle take you from the main thing, because the main thing is the acquiring of these doggone assets. And we got to acquire enough assets that are producing enough passive income that are offsetting our monthly expenses, so we can do legacy. Because it's not about our first name, amen. It's about our last name. All right. So if y'all agree, give me an amen.
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 Right.
Let's get it.
All right, let's get it. Yes, sir. All right. For folks who are out there in social media land, as always, be blessed, but more importantly, be a blessing. All right, take care, everybody.